Good morning, Prego Expo. I'm Shannon. I am a certified breastfeeding specialist and sales and marketing director with Rumble Tuff. So excited to be here and talk to you all today about all things breast pumps and pumping. Hi, everybody. Just wanted to let you know I'm going to do my best to try to answer all the kind of questions that I can, but it's just little old me here in the chat today and presenting to you all. So would love to welcome you all to our booth after the session here is over on the main stage. Happy to answer any questions I can over there as well. Hello. Anything that I can't get to on the main stage or over in chat, I will definitely give you all my email over there. Would love to be able to support you and help you however I can. I've been in the industry for several years now, working for several other brands. I love all things lactation and pumping and breastfeeding. So I love to help support families on their journeys, whatever that looks like. So here today to kind of help you all. If it's your first time learning about breast pumps, welcome. If you've been doing this for many years and you feel like you know it all, maybe I'll be able to help you learn a little bit something new today. So some of the topics that we're going to discuss today are the different types of pumps that are out there. We're going to talk about flange fit and how that's super important. We're going to tackle some of the common myths that are about breastfeeding and breast pumping. We're going to talk about how our breast pumps work and how they work in general, and also talking about getting a pump through insurance because that's a little tricky. And there's so much information out there. There's so many different breast pump companies. I know you've already heard from some great ones. And I'm sure obviously when you're scrolling through social media, you see so many influencers out there kind of throwing you all the different brands and all the different options. So it's very, very confusing. And yes, Melissa, very anxiety inducing. And it doesn't need to be that way, but that's understandable that can definitely be overwhelming and anxiety inducing. So let's jump right in. So first thing I just want to assure you, there's no one right way to pump or feed your baby, right? So definitely, again, doing what's best for you and for your family. I definitely want to encourage everyone to check into your insurance benefits and find out if your insurance covers sessions with someone like me, a CBS, a CLC, a certified lactation counselor, an international board certified lactation consultant like an IBCLC. Actually, insurance has changed so dramatically over the last few years about what they cover, to include things like doulas to support you in your birthing process and including lactation like this. So please understand that, yes, while you're in the hospital, you'll be able to meet with a lactation professional that will probably come around to your room, especially if you deliver in a baby-friendly hospital. But you'll definitely want to check into your insurance because, listen, just that one visit is not going to be enough for you. Breastfeeding and pumping is something that is learned. Oftentimes we think that we should just know. Babies should come out, they get put on our chest, and we should just know. We should have this magical moment where they just latch and everything is just perfect. And our milk comes in perfectly and we make the exact amount that we need and everything's just dreamy and wonderful. But it can be a challenge, but that should not scare you. We have plenty of professionals that are here to help you. And again, you can call your insurance and ask if they provide lactation coverage. So be it through a CLC, a CBS, or an IBCLC. And typically they can help you either virtually. So there are plenty of great professionals out there, like Nest Collaborative is one option. The Lactation Network is a really great option as well. And they can do visits virtually, kind of like this, one-on-one in the privacy of your home. Or you can also go on websites like USLCA, and you can find lactation professionals in your community that will take your insurance, and they will be able to support you in your home or virtually if that's what you prefer. And oftentimes insurance can cover 3 sessions, 5 sessions, all of those things to help you. They'll be able to assess your baby, if there's a tongue tie issue perhaps, or a lip tie issue that maybe is causing some problems at the breast or with latch. They'll be able to help you with that flange fit in person. They may be able to help you troubleshoot your breast pump if you already have one. There's so many issues that lactation professionals can actually help you with. Or maybe you think everything's going great and you just want to be reassured. Definitely check into your insurance and see if they're able to help support you in that. So let's go right into the different types of breast pumps, right? So you've seen wearables, right? Everybody sees everyone talking about wearable breast pumps, and those like the new rage everyone's talking about. So wearables are great. You've also got things like your traditional tabletop breast pump. So this is actually the Tuff Easy Express. So this is more of a traditional desktop breast pump. And then you've got your manual breast pump, which is something like this. So you'll see it has a handle. And so I'll kind of go over each individual pump for you. So your traditional tabletop breast pump is going to have a really strong motor. This is what we recommend and we call a primary breast pump. So this is going to be your tried and true every day, all day for most of your pumping sessions breast pump that you're going to want to use. So because it has that strong motor, it's got those customizable features that we'll talk about here in just a minute. This is what you're actually going to want to rely on for most of your pumping sessions, not a wearable, which I know can be really disappointing to a lot of people because, again, it sounds great to be able to be just throw it in the bra, be on the go all the time, and be able to use that. Wearables have a place, absolutely, but just be aware that with a wearable, sometimes they can have those really small motors, and because of that, it can affect the suction. And one of the biggest parts of lactation, whether you have baby at the breast or whether you're using an electric pump or a manual pump, is emptying the breast completely. So there's all this kind of fun bits and pieces in our brains that biologically and chemically and all this fun parts of lactation that we learned about, that if you empty the breast, it signifies the brain to make more milk, right? And so over time, if we're not fully draining the breast every single time, then we're telling our brain to quit making so much milk, right? And so over time, your supply can start to go down. And so we don't want that to happen. Now, if you work with a lactation professional, we can absolutely help you get that supply back up. But we just want to maintain your supply. We want to protect it as much as we possibly can. And the best way to do that is by emptying your breast fully and completely as much as possible. So the best way to do that is, again, to use your standard tabletop desktop pump like a Tuff Easy Express, and then using a wearable breast pump in the in-between. So let's say you have car circle and it's in your pump session. You've got to go pick up your kiddo from school and you've got to get that pump session in. Perfect time to go ahead and throw that wearable in and get that pump session in, right? You're a teacher and, hey, the Pump Act exists to protect our need for pumping outside of a bathroom, in the privacy, somewhere away from other people. Definitely look that up. I can definitely put that link in my booth later for all of you working mamas. But there may be times when, let's be honest, we just have to get a pump session and it's not convenient to step away. So there may be times when you do need to use a wearable, and that's fine. But just remember, you don't want to use your wearable as your primary pump. Use it as a secondary option. So just in your mind, if you've not already used your insurance benefits, my recommendation is to use your insurance for your primary tabletop breast pump. Maybe find one that has a built-in rechargeable battery that still gives you that option to move around. And then maybe throw on that wearable on your baby registry and have somebody buy it for you. Use your HSA, FSA benefits and use that wearable that way. So nothing wrong with the wearable, but we just really want to try to do a lot of education on the lactation and the professional side of things, that you should use your primary pump predominantly for most of your pumping sessions and just use that wearable every now and then. Now, obviously that's not everybody's situation. You'll find some people who say they had incredible results with their wearable and it did great for them. But we just want to make sure that we're really just paying attention to the output, emptying that breast as much as possible every single time to maintain that supply. Manual pump. This is great to have. I think every mom should have one regardless. This is great not only depending on where you live, if you're subject to hurricanes or earthquakes, power outages, long car rides back and forth to work or something like that. And so you'll just throw this very inexpensive to grab a manual breast pump, throw it in the diaper bag, throw it in the car. It's very easy to use, and it helps relieve engorgement and things of that nature. You've had a night out with the girls, you forgot your pump. Oh my gosh, you just grab this because it's in your car, and you can just kind of express your milk right there in the car and make sure that, again, you're draining that breast, right? And sometimes you will find moms say they actually get more milk out of their manual pump than they do with their double electric. So another thing you kind of have to play with. One unique feature about Rumble Tuff breast pumps is that all of our breast pumps actually include this manual handle in the box. So not only are you going to get that double electric breast pump, but you're also going to get this handle. And the cool part about this is this just snaps on and off the top of your traditional collection bottle. And then this becomes your manual breast pump. So you don't have to buy anything extra. This is right included in with your breast pump with us. Obviously, yes, you can purchase it separately, but it is included with all of our electric breast pumps. So let's talk about breast size and milk supply. So there's a common myth associated with, well, I have really small breasts. I don't know that I'm going to be able to make milk. Or I have really small breasts. I don't know if I'm going to be able to use a pump. Or my breasts are really large. I'm concerned I'm going to suffocate my baby. All of that doesn't matter. It really matters about the glandular tissue of your breasts and how your breasts are structured. So again, that's something that you can work with a lactation professional on. So do not think that, again, because you have small or large breasts or something of that nature, that's going to indicate how much milk you're going to produce. That is a huge common misconception. And so we definitely want to squash that right away, that it's your glandular tissue that matters. It's not your cup size. So definitely don't think about that. Hospital grade. That's another really big buzzword that you'll see all over the place on social media, on advertising, on all the pump websites, right? What does hospital grade mean? Everybody wants a hospital grade breast pump. Hospital grade in the industry, unfortunately, is kind of like a buzzword. There's no regulation around it. It really doesn't mean anything per se in this industry until you get into the multi-user breast pumps that you see kind of like in the hospital bedside, especially provided like to rentals for like NICU babies. If you have a NICU baby and they send you home maybe with a rental breast pump, that's something that we consider hospital grade because it's a multi-user breast pump. So when you see a breast pump that says that it's a hospital grade breast pump and it's a single user breast pump, it really doesn't mean anything. So hate to bust that myth for you too, but don't let that sway you when you're looking at breast pumps and you see all these different options and you've got 5 on your screen and one says hospital grade. Unfortunately, it really doesn't mean a whole lot. What really matters is closed system, which is in this day and age, 98% of breast pumps on the market now are closed system. What that means is that the pump was built so that milk and human bodily fluid will not get back into the motor through the tubing and things of that nature. And obviously, if that were to happen, that can lead to, some very serious consequences. So now almost all the breast pumps on the market here in the US are closed systems. So you don't have to worry about that. Your motor strength also is what matters quite a bit. So when you're looking around at the options, one thing that you should look at is to see if they advertise how many mmHg the motor strength is. And so that basically tells you the suction strength of the pump. So let's talk about the cycle speed of a pump versus the suction strength. And let's also kind of dispel a myth about that too. So you might be thinking the stronger, the higher I put the pump, the more milk that's going to come out, right? Not necessarily. You need to pump for comfort, and that can mean a lot of different things, right? So I may respond well on level 3 and do a fantastic pumping session, while my best friend may do really great on level 7. That just may be what works well for her body. So we are all different. All of our bodies are made different, and we're all going to respond differently, right? So kind of going back to the wearables, maybe my best friend, she did great on a wearable. Maybe for me, I didn't do so well. So everybody just kind of does differently. So that's one thing to kind of remember as you're working through this process and you're kind of researching all of your options. You definitely want to keep that in mind, that again, That suction strength doesn't necessarily equate to how much milk you're going to produce. You need to make sure that you're pumping for comfort. So again, the cycle speed and the suction, what we're doing ultimately with the breast pump is we're trying to mimic baby's natural suckling pattern, right? And so we want to try to mimic that as best as we can. There's never going to be any breast pump that mimics baby as best as baby, right? There's never going to be any bottle that mimics a breast like a breast, right? There's going to be things that get as close as possible, but it's never going to be exactly. So we do the best we can. So with the cycle speed, that's how fast the pump sucks. And then obviously the suction strength is how strong that pull is, right? And so we want to basically mimic when you're turning on your pump, you initially have a let down mode. And so basically that's when your milk starts just gently dripping out of your nipple before you have those sprays, those long sprays into baby's mouth. And so for some moms, that may come in 30 seconds. For some moms, it may take a minute or two. But once you see that milk start dripping out of the nipple, and then you can start seeing those sprays, you switch from the letdown mode to the expression mode. That's when you start seeing those long sprays, and then you start having those long pulls in the motor of the breast pump. And so the longer the pull, the more natural it is to mimic that baby's movement of sucking on the nipple and pulling the milk out with the tongue. So if this is baby's tongue, and we're just sucking and we're pulling. Yes, letdown can be an intense feeling. It absolutely can be. Yes, that's correct. So we just want to make sure, again, that we're finding a pump that has many different customizable options. So definitely different suction speeds, different cycles, very, very important because everybody is different. Everyone is going to react differently. And so you'll want to find a pump that you can customize that meets your needs. Let's talk about Flange Fit because that's a really, really important topic right now. That's super, super important. So everybody is different, like I've been saying. So everyone's nipples are obviously very differently sized, right? And when I talk about a nipple, I'm not talking about, in flange sizing, I'm not talking about the darker part of your breast, the areola, right? We're just talking about the nipple. So for example, I don't have my demo breast on me, but this is our silicone Flange Fit ruler. This is a tool that professionals like me use to help moms like you find their flange size. So what do I say? What is a flange? Let's talk about a flange first. So flanges come in all different sizes, right? So right here, what you see is one of the most common size flanges that are on the market. This is a 25, and actually I'm going to show you, this is a 28. So this is one that you'll find in most boxes on the shelf in breast pumps. So this is a pretty big flange, and unfortunately, or fortunately, most moms are trending on the small side. So manufacturers have caught on to that and they're trying to bring smaller and smaller sizes to market. However, not everybody has caught up. Yes, exactly. So like Rachel said, unfortunately, if you just crack open your pump box and try to use this right out of the box, you're probably going to have a lot of problems. Cracked nipples, bleeding, blebs, all kinds of things can happen, right? We want to make sure that you're using the right flange for your nipple because everybody's are different. So you can use a tool. We actually have a printable one on our website. Or when you get a pump from us, actually, we have a paper one that's included in the box with all of our breast pumps. But for purposes of this, you can kind of see here, what you'll do is prior to a pumping session, you will take a ruler and then you will measure the tip of your nipple, not the areola, and then that will be your flange size. You'll want to make sure that it moves gently, not rubbing up against, not tightly on, just a very gentle fit. And yes, Sarah, I'll put the link to the printable one in our booth after this. So you can grab it. It's also on our website, rumbletuff.com. If you scroll to the bottom, There'll be something on there that says, how do I know my flange size? If you click that, it will give you the link for the printable guide. And yes, they all are standardized because they go off of millimeters. So all of the rulers that you see out there should be pretty standard. And so what you want to make sure is that, again, when you're pumping, that your nipple is not rubbing the outside of the tunnel, because as you can imagine, it's almost like if you have a pair of shoes that you love and they're too small for you and your heel starts rubbing on the back. And then you kind of get red and then you get pink and all of that, and it busts open and starts bleeding. Same thing with your nipple. Same thing is going to happen. So you don't want any kind of rubbing on the tunnel of the flange. Thank you, Clara. And then you also don't want the areola, the darker part of your breast, being pulled into the flange either, because that can cause further cracking and bleeding. So we don't want that. We literally just want the nipple being pulled into the tunnel of the flange. There's also really interesting silicone inserts. So this is another portion. So if you're somebody who goes and you get a pump, and it comes with that 28, that 32 millimeter hard plastic flange, you can actually use an insert like this, and then you can slip it inside the flange and reduce the tunnel size like that of the flange down to something smaller. So these kits, we actually have these for sale on our website. So these come in this little sweet box like this. And this has a 15 millimeter, a 17, a 19, and a 21 all in this box. Those are the most common sizes that you will see. Not to say that there aren't other sizes, because we go all the way up to 32 and we're actually introducing 11 and 13. So there's a wide range of sizes out there. Okay. So if you fall outside of those sizes, don't think, oh my gosh, there's something wrong. No, there's a wide range of bodies, a wide range of sizes, right? But those are just the most common sizes that you see. So again, we're having issues, right, with manufacturers just not having the right sizes that moms need. And now we're understanding why moms open their pump boxes, they pull out that 28, maybe mom's a 15, she starts pumping and she hates it. It's so painful and she has all of these problems, right? So now we understand. So great question, when to measure. So yes, you can measure right before you have baby. You can measure right after baby, and it's recommended that you measure maybe about a month or 6 weeks or so after you've had baby, because your nipple can fluctuate. And nipples can be different sizes on different sides as well. So it's important to continue to to measure as you kind of go along to see exactly. It can be two different sizes. Exactly. That's correct. So great question. Great question. So again, just kind of keep an eye on your flange. Definitely keep checking as you kind of go along, because things change. We don't want pumping or breastfeeding to ever be painful. Okay. So if you have any pain, please reach out to a lactation professional. At Rumble Tuff, we include 30 minutes with me with any questions that you have. If you have one of our pumps and you've registered the warranty on our website, we'll be able to help you and address any kind of questions you have, whether it's finding out a schedule to pump or questions about your pump, flange fit, all of those things. Before I run out of time, I just want to jump into DME and getting a pump through insurance. It's so important. I'll spend more time talking about it over in our booth, but definitely be able to check your insurance. Most all insurances in this country cover moms getting breast pumps for free. About 99% of insurances now have to provide you with a breast pump. All DMEs are different, durable medical equipment suppliers. So there's plenty of them out there. There's Aeroflow, there's Breastfeeding Shop, there's Baby Pavilion. There's so many offerings, right? So it can be very, very confusing. My biggest tip is to shop around. Shop around. That sounds crazy, okay? But shop around, because one DME will give you a Rumble Tuff Breeze for free, and then the next one will make you pay $50, right? Because that's just what they can do. So it's very, very important that you shop around, check out what your insurance will cover. All of these websites for DMEs will be able to take your insurance information and show you what you are able to receive. If you don't see Rumble Tuff there, you can certainly ask for it. You can go on our website and you can fill out our form on rumbletuff.com, and we can actually help you locate a supplier that carries a Rumble Tuff pump. One of the other most popular pumps we have is the Breeze. It's comparable to the Spectra S1, fits in the palm of your hand, has a built-in rechargeable battery. It's awesome. I didn't get a chance to talk about our collection cups, so definitely come over to our booth and we'll definitely chat about these. These are awesome if you want a hands-free option. But I've enjoyed talking to you all today. Definitely hop over to the booth and I'll be able to answer any more questions that you all have that we didn't get to. So thank you so much.